I'm teaching my wife how to ride, and she's rode before, but previously she was riding that bike and she went to turn, and where she turned, she was going kind of slow and she hit some mud and she ended up falling down, and she did not like that very much. What's up? Anyway, so when she fell down, she kind of started losing her confidence, and if you're not used to falling, like if you ride dirt bikes, then you're gonna fall all the time. So you kind of just have to mentally get over that, like it's gonna happen. So the sooner you kind of accept the fact that you're gonna fall all the time, then the better you're gonna be. So, but once you fell the first time, then it kind of dropped your confidence a little bit, but then we started riding some more. And I tried to just say as much as possible that it's okay and it happens all the time. You're fine. Remember how to start it?
I thought I did.
Yeah, so that's on. You gotta be in neutral. It's all the way down. Don't pull in the clutch when you go to. It has to be in neutral, but don't pull in the clutch because it'll make it to where it doesn't start. So just leave the clutch out. Yeah, don't pull in the clutch. Just neutral, so all the way down, and then you should be able to kick it. You want me to do it? It's like super windy, which probably isn't helping. So a lot of dirt bike riding is confidence. So if you're ever trying to coach somebody on how to, especially if they're like just learning, then positive reinforcement is the key. Like no matter what they do, like if they stall the bike, if they do whatever, unless it's like super dangerous or they're like really gonna get hurt, then you need to not discourage them, like say anything negative like, wow, why'd you dump the clutch for no reason and kill the bike or whatever. It's like you have to continuously do positive reinforcements or they're gonna get discouraged. Just like anything, once you start getting in your head that you can't do whatever it is, then you're not gonna be able to do it, and it's not gonna turn out very well. But dirt bike riding, when you first start out, then I think low speed corners is like the main problem. Like once you get to where you can do like tight corners and turn around, then you should be good. Like that's like one of the hardest part, because you're balancing, like getting used to balancing on a bike is pretty hard. So once you can turn and do like slow speed corners without falling, then it'll make it a lot easier. So when we first started riding together, I tried not to force her to do the low speed drills and stuff because it's boring and it's hard. Like, that's super hard. But the downside is if they don't get to where they can do stuff like that, then it like kills their confidence. So when I first started trying to show her how to turn around, oh no, I'll rewind even further than that. So I thought it would be a good idea to have her ride on the street, because where we live, there's like no people out here. So we're riding on the street, and she went to turn around, and she ended up, because she was trying to turn around in the middle of the road, and she lost her balance, ended up falling in the middle of the street, and she did not like that. So then this is the first, that was like months and months ago. It was the first time I've actually been able to get her back on a bike. So that turned out not well, because I thought that like on the street there's no rocks, there's no anything, you don't have to really worry about being that good because there's nothing to hit, like you're just going straight. But I did not anticipate the low speed turning stuff would be an issue, which it was. So now that I have her back on the bike, and I'm trying to get her to get used to low speed turning stuff, because I think if I can get her to where she can low speed turn and it's not a big deal, like stopping and then turning around, then everything else will be okay, because she can ride, and like riding around goes good. It's just literally the low speed turning stuff where she feels uncomfortable, which that's the balancing, like the most hard part when it comes to balancing and stuff is the low speed turning stuff. So once you get that and you have the confidence to be able to turn, you know what it feels like when you're leaning the bike, and like how much you can lean the bike over without it turning out badly, then you should be able to do everything else. All the rest of it just comes with practice. But what I ended up finally doing with the low speed turning stuff is I started out and I was having her just put one foot down, and that was not the move, as it turned out. So I ended up having her just turn, like go really slow and just practice like the letting on the clutch and stuff, and then keeping both feet down and just like super slowly turning and just kind of feel the bike when it turns. And with both feet down, then she felt more comfortable, it seems like. And it wasn't at, like once you have only one foot on the ground, then you don't feel as comfortable. But now she can turn and do circles, and it's fine. But when I was having her do it with just one foot, then she would get off balance, and then when she get off balance, and that's when she kind of stressed out. It was not good. But with 2 feet down, then it kind of gave her the confidence to turn and know that she wasn't going to fall over, and then it was fine. But if you're trying to coach someone else, then it's, if they're not doing good or doing what you're wanting them to do, it's your fault. Like, it's not, when you're trying to coach someone, it's up to you to direct it and like adapt what you're saying and doing to where they can actually learn, because otherwise they're just gonna quit. So it's up to you. Huh? Doing great. They're turning, not even falling down. It's good. I said you're turning and you're not falling down, and you're actually doing like pretty tight turns. Doing good, Fluff. Are you having any more fun? Are you having any more fun? Once you start building skill, then it gets a lot more fun very rapidly. But when you feel like you don't have the skill to do what you're trying to do, then it is super uncomfortable. And there's a reason that 99% of people on the planet do not ride motorcycles. Like, a lot of people, they'll ride bicycles and stuff, but people do not ride motorcycles. So there is definitely a learning curve, and if you mess up, then you can easily break your leg, break your arm, whatever. If you fall and you're not, like, as soon as we started trying to ride, I told her, if you're falling, do not try and catch the bike. Just let it drop. Like, try and get away from the bike. Because there's a dude that I work with that he bought a brand new street bike, and then his dad, he didn't know how to ride, so his dad ended up riding it to a parking lot, and then the first time that he went out and his bike ended up it was falling, and he tried to catch it and ended up breaking his ankle, and he couldn't work for like 6 months because he had a broken ankle. So the bike will be fine. Like, they're pretty robust things. So if you're worried about the bike and dropping it, don't worry about it. Especially if it's a dirt bike. They're super, like, people wreck them way harder than whatever, like, little baby drop that you're gonna end up doing. So if you can get to where when you're dropping the motorcycle, you just jump away from it and, like, get away from it, then you'll be way better off because you're less likely to get hurt. And you're gonna drop the bike. There's nobody that's ever started out on motorcycles and never dropped a motorcycle. It's not a thing. So once you kind of get that out of your head, then that will help you a lot. And then, like, the bike that she's riding is pretty short, so she is able to put both feet down and get comfortable. Like, if she started out on my bike, which isn't that much taller, but it's enough to where she can't properly flat foot, then it, like, just kills your confidence. Yeah. There we go. And ideally, you can get them to ride, like, often. Because if you don't ride consistently, then you're going to forget how to do stuff. Like, when we first started, then she couldn't remember how to kickstart it, which is fine, and it's been like 2 months since we rode, so now that she's used to kickstarting it, she just kickstarted it and was successful. first started riding, then I'd come out here and we have all these trees, and I would do these drills. It's low speed turning. How's it going, Flip? Tired? Tired from what? Does that help with your hands? Or are they still, eh? Are you feeling better than before? More confident? I'll say you're turning, like, successfully. That's way, yeah. Say, once you get that down, then that should boost your confidence of not having to worry about falling and stuff. That's like the hardest thing, was getting the balance of it. Like, you start feeling like you're falling and then not panicking, and yeah, definitely takes some getting used to. I'll say, when I first got this, like when you were home, then I just literally just go and low speed turn and do the figure eights and all that, like a lot. So that's the only way that I got to where I could do it without falling down. So you wanting to retire soon, or what's your, yeah, like right meow? What sucks about trying to teach people how to do stuff, especially stuff like this, if it goes badly, then they're not going to be super ready to get back on the horse per se very quickly. So like, it took 2 months before I could get her to ride again. So that was my bad. I shouldn't have had her ride on the street. I didn't anticipate her falling and that going that badly, but it was on me to try and gauge how far to push the person I'm trying to show before they didn't want to do the thing anymore. So I'd like her to be able to know how to do it, so it's up to me to figure out how far I can go and how to teach her the way she wants to be taught. Say it, whatever way you turn and don't fall down, that's the way, like the way to do it. So whatever that technique is that is like the easiest way of doing it, then that's good. You didn't fall. Huh? I said that's good. You didn't fall. You're getting used to it. So if you're doing this, then I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but whichever direction that you're turning, then you can hang off the other side of the bike and it'll kind of counterbalance, and then you'll be able to turn way sharper. So you can do like little baby circles, and you want to try not to go full lock when you do it, because it just feels super uncomfortable. Like once you get to full lock, then you're going to be way more likely to fall down. So in my opinion, then you want to go like as far as you can without going full lock. But this is one of those things that I try and practice as much as I can. It's way easier to practice this on a dirt bike in the field than it is on a street bike, which I guess you could just go to a parking lot and do circles on a street bike, but it's one of those things, once you get used to like being that far down and get your balance to where you're comfortable, then riding in general, even on the street, is going to feel way more comfortable. It's all about building your confidence. Huh? I need to be done. Okay. So one of the most important things is when the person you're coaching says that they're done, you probably need to be done. Because if you try and push them and then they get hurt, or they're just not going to try as hard, which is fair. Like once you're done and you don't feel comfortable anymore, then you need to stop and then just try it again another day. Building skill takes time, and if you rush it, that's when you get hurt. So it's better to just let it happen. There's no reason to try and super rush stuff. Like if you're not that good at something, then you just need practice. Because everyone started out somewhere. Like I started out and I didn't know what I was doing. I never rode a motorcycle before. I didn't have anyone to coach me, so I just kind of had to figure it out on my own. And I tried to watch like YouTube videos and stuff, but a lot of this stuff just I couldn't find. Or if I did find, it's like hard for it to click. Once it clicks, then it'll make more sense. But